Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video, the YouTube series in which we look at a recently released game and I give you my first thoughts and impressions on it. Today we're looking at Winter Ember, which is a top-down stealth type game that seems to draw a lot of inspiration from games like Assassin's Creed. The gameplay and style is a little bit different to Assassin's Creed. Like I said, it's top-down as opposed to third-person, but the stealth, the design, all that sort of stuff does seem to have a very Assassin's Creed-esque feel. That being said, a lot of the things that I don't like about this game are very subjective, and somebody else might actually quite enjoy them and like that about the game. Mechanically speaking, it seems to work very well, and it seems to run really well as well. Like there's nothing majorly game breaking wrong with the game, just a few things that I'm not overly happy with that mean that I'm not enjoying it as much as maybe somebody else would. As always, we'll look at the options first, and then from the options we'll go into the gameplay and we'll see how it plays and whether you agree or disagree with my findings. So let's not waste any more time, let's jump straight into the options. Okay, options then. It starts you with your game settings, your language, whether you want to show the alert meter and stuff like that. It is on by default, and honestly, with the way that the game is portrayed and the way that the game works, you're probably going to want these on just to give you a bit of an edge. But if you're after a challenge turning them off, it's nice that they've got the option there. Your graphics settings. Weirdly, it started the resolution in 720. Don't quite know why. Your preset is set to very high, and then you've got your windowed full screen as your mode here. Brightness, VSync on or off. And then you've got AA, post-processing, shadows, textures, effects, and foliage. It would be nice if they had a motion blur on or off option, because the mouse sensitivity or the controller sensitivity when you move it does seem to give a bit of a nauseating blur. And whilst I quite like the speed of being able to turn as fast as what I am, having that nauseating blur is, well, it's nauseating, it's horrible, I don't like it. So having an option there to turn that off would be a really big addition to this menu. Your audio. I must say that the sound on this game and the soundtrack they've gone with fits the game very well. It's really nice, but it does start it at 100%. Now, it's not loud enough to blow your eardrums out, but it'd be nice if they started it a bit lower just to have that bit of consideration there for people. In-game subtitles on or off, and cinematic subtitles on or off as well. I will say that the subtitles in this game are fantastic, purely and simply because aesthetically they are quite pleasing. A lot of games, they just kind of throw on the subtitles last, whereas these actually go with a font that suits the style of the game. Very, very impressed with that. Your controls. Now, this does work with a mouse and keyboard or controller. I am finding it a lot easier to work with a controller. The buttons that they start with are a bit odd, but it looks like you are able to change the binding as you see fit, which is nice. And you can invert the axis of Y and X as well. So there you go. There's a fairly bulky options menu here. Nothing really that I would like to see added outside of the turning the motion blur on or off, or an option to turn it down at least. It's a really very well thought out menu. Let's look at the gameplay, shall we? Alright, we're in the game. So, it doesn't have an autosave. You've got to find the statue and save it from there. The health potions and food are very limited, so you're going to have to be very, very careful. One of the biggest problems for me with this game is the combat. It seems a little bit sloppy, a little bit slow. You've not got a huge move set. You've got your basic attack, your heavy attack, your block, and your parry. And the idea is to be stealthy, so you don't really want to be doing that often. Now, I have killed most of the enemies in this area, so I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show you any combat, but as you can see, it's sort of like a maze, and you don't get a huge amount of visibility. There's not a lot that you can see in front of you, which can mean that trying to find enemies to plan out your moves can be a little bit difficult. And again, this is a subjective thing as why I don't like that. I would much rather have a wider FOV. I would much be able to see what's coming so I can plan my moves accordingly. But there are many people who might actually like this style, this visual style of having to be very, very careful and very, very stealthy. The main problem with the combat I've got is that you do have a stealth takedown. You can either knock out your enemy or you can kill them. The problem is that it's very, very finicky and doesn't seem to work that often. The amount of times that I have tried to sneak up and kill an enemy and it's just not triggered, even though he's been highlighted to say that I can, is more than a little bit triggering. And then you go into the combat itself and again, it feels a bit sloppy to me. It doesn't feel very smooth and it doesn't seem to sort of act as you would act. Now, I don't know whether that's because I'm using a controller and there's a bit of controller lag, but again, it might just be me, it might be a subjective thing. It's the only problem I've really found with the combat. The other problem I've got with the game, again, this is subjective, is that the map, it doesn't really make it very clear where it is I'm supposed to go. And again, I feel like this is by design. I feel like this is very much a thing that the game wants you to do. It wants you to try and figure it out, wants you to try and work out where it is you're supposed to be going. Now, I've got to use my rope up here, and I don't quite know how to equip it. I'm trying to figure that out. It says I need rope, and I've got rope. I have rope somewhere. I'm sure I picked up some rope. Did I not pick rope? I might not have got rope. Wooden shaft, craft an arrow. Yeah, I've got rope. Apparently that's not enough. Wooden shaft. Rope. I've got 2 rope, 4 arrowhead, 2 normal arrowhead, and in order to craft that, not enough materials. It doesn't tell you how many you need, which is a bit odd, and I feel like it should probably give you a bit more of a hint as to what it is you need in order to make it, because this just tells you what I've actually got. It doesn't tell you what you need for the recipe, which is a bit of a shame. And also it says that I just need rope, which I've got, and yet here it won't let me use it. It says that it's just required. And I don't know whether that means that I need to equip it, and if that's the case, how do I equip it, or if I need to craft the rope arrow in order to make it work. And I think that's the main problem, because that's pretty much where I've got to go next. That's the next part of this puzzle. Again, you might be into that as the game goes, because it might be a case of you might want to figure that puzzle out. But personally, I don't. I would rather the game sort of give me more of a hint, more of a tip on how to do it. Graphically speaking, this game is stunning. It looks really, really good. It's really well done. It's very well put together. Again, a lot of the problems I've got with the game are very subjective. They're very, you know, just not my sort of game style that I would normally play or normally like. But the story is very good. The cinematic animation is fantastic. It plays well. It runs smooth. The animations work with the game. The audio is synced up very well. It's got a lot going for it. So here I need to find a key, which means I've got to find somebody to pickpocket and or kill. So there's a lot of things and a lot of direction that you can take the game in, and it kind of doesn't hold your hand at all, which in some instances is good, others not so much. So there you go. That's pretty much the game. This is Winter Ember. It is available on Steam. It came out a couple of days ago. Let me know in those comments down below whether you agree or disagree with my findings and what you think. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I shall see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.